Ambassador Park Min-jun stood in the center of the Galactic Council chamber and tried to keep his anger under control. Around him, representatives from 47 species sat in their floating seats, looking down at him like he was a child, asking for something he did not deserve. 800 people, Park said quietly. 312 of them were children. They were colonists, farmers, teachers. They made a navigation error and crossed into Zevrathi space by accident. And your response was to destroy their ship completely. High Commander Vethrall rose from his seat. The Zevrathi was tall and covered in silver scales that reflected the chamber's lights. His eyes were cold and showed no emotion. It was our legal right, Vethrall said. They violated our borders. We responded according to galactic law. Park looked around the chamber. 200 years ago, humanity had joined the galactic community. Earth had been so excited. Finally, humans were part of something bigger. Finally, they could walk among the stars with other intelligent species. But the galaxy had been afraid of humans. Earth was a death world, they said. Humans evolved in constant danger. Humans were too aggressive, too violent, too unpredictable. So the Galactic Council had offered humanity a deal. Join the galaxy, but accept restrictions. Build only small military forces. Focus on trade and culture. Prove you can be peaceful. And humanity had agreed. For 200 years, Earth had followed every rule. Humans had become known as excellent engineers, talented artists, and skilled doctors. They had shared their music, their stories, their medical advances. They had been good neighbors. Park had believed in this peace. He had spent 30 years representing Earth, arguing for humanity's place in the galaxy. He had thought they were making progress. Then the Zevrathi had killed 800 innocent people. We are not asking for war, Park said. We are asking for justice, an apology, compensation for the families, recognition that what happened was wrong. The council leader, an ancient being called Speaker Torvin, looked down at Park with what might have been pity. Ambassador Park, we understand your anger, but the Zevrathi acted within their rights. Your people violated their space. Perhaps this tragedy will remind humanity to be more careful. Park felt something cold settle in his chest. More careful, he repeated. Is that your judgment? That 800 dead humans, including children, is just a reminder to be more careful? We do not appreciate your tone, Ambassador, Vethrall said. His mouth turned up in what looked like a smile. Perhaps humanity needs to remember its place in the galactic order. You are here because we allow it. You follow our rules because you are weak. The chamber went quiet. Several council members shifted in their seats, uncomfortable with Vethrall's words. But no one spoke against him. Park looked at the commander for a long moment. Then he looked around at all the council members, at all these species who had decided that human lives did not matter. I see, Park said softly. Then let me be clear. Earth formally protests this decision. We demand justice for our dead. And if this council will not provide it, then Earth will close its borders and withdraw from galactic society. You threaten us? Vethrall laughed. You would isolate yourselves, cut yourself off from galactic trade and technology? Please, Ambassador, we all know humanity needs us more than we need you. Park turned to leave. As he walked toward the chamber exit, Speaker Torvin called out, Ambassador Park, surely there is no need for such extreme actions. Let us discuss this calmly. Park stopped but did not turn around. My government will make its decision. I have nothing more to say to this council. 3 days later, Earth recalled all its ambassadors. Every human trading post closed. Every human ship returned to human space. The borders of human territory went dark. The Galactic Council waited for humanity to apologize and ask to return. They believed humans could not survive without galactic trade. They thought it was just an emotional reaction that would pass. 2 weeks later, High Commander Vethral presented a proposal to the Council. "The humans are testing us," he said. "They want to see if we will back down. If we show weakness now, they will become bold. They will demand more and more until they think they can ignore our authority completely." "What do you suggest?" Speaker Torvin asked. "A military demonstration," Vethral said. "Nothing destructive. We send a fleet to Earth's solar system. We show them our power. They will realize they cannot stand against the entire galaxy, and they will surrender. It will be quick and bloodless." Some council members were worried. The Praxian scholar, an old and wise being, stood slowly. "Perhaps we should investigate Earth's true capabilities before taking military action. We know very little about their actual defenses." Vethral made a dismissive gesture. "We have monitored Earth for 200 years. We know exactly what they have. 300 defense platforms, a fleet of perhaps 2,000 ships. They are restricted by the treaties they signed. They cannot challenge us." The council debated for hours. In the end, fear won over wisdom. Humanity had closed its borders. Humanity had rejected the council's authority. If the galaxy did not respond, what would other species think? Would everyone begin to ignore the council? The vote was close, but it passed. The Galactic Council authorized a corrective military action against Earth. When Park received the news, he immediately requested an emergency transmission to the council. They granted it, expecting him to beg for mercy. Park appeared on the screens in the council chamber. He looked tired and sad. "Members of the Galactic Council," he said, "I have just been informed of your decision to send military forces to Earth. I am recording this message so there can be no misunderstanding later." He paused and looked directly into the camera. "You are making a terrible mistake. For 200 years, humanity has lived peacefully with the galaxy. We have followed your rules. We have accepted your restrictions. We have done this because we chose peace. We wanted to be part of the galactic community." Park's expression became harder. "But you have mistaken our choice for weakness. You think our peaceful behavior means we cannot defend ourselves. You think our willingness to follow rules means we are helpless." He leaned forward. "I am begging you, as someone who has served Earth for 30 years and believed in galactic peace, do not do this. Recall your fleet. Agree to negotiate. Do not make us show you what we really are." Vethral laughed. "More threats, Ambassador? Your world will surrender within days." Park looked at him with something like pity. "No, Commander. Not threats. A warning. Please, I am begging you. Reconsider." The transmission ended. The Council did not reconsider. High Commander Vethral assembled a coalition fleet. 12 species contributed ships, 5,000 vessels, armed with the galaxy's best weapons. It was more than enough to force one isolated human world to surrender. As the fleet prepared to leave for Earth, Speaker Torvin watched from his quarters. He thought about Ambassador Park's face, about the sadness in his voice. The old speaker had seen many wars in his long life. He had learned to recognize certain things. And what he had seen in Park's expression was not fear. It was grief. But the fleet had already launched. There was nothing to do now but wait and see what would happen when the galaxy's military might arrive at humanity's home world. The journey to Earth would take 14 days. No one in the galaxy knew that those would be the last peaceful days they would ever know. Captain Lee Soo-jin watched the coalition fleet arrive at the edge of Earth's solar system and felt her stomach twist. 5,000 ships, the combined military power of 12 species, all here to force humanity into submission. She stood on the bridge of Mercy's End, one of Earth's orbital defense stations. Around her, her crew worked quietly at their stations. No one spoke unnecessarily. They all knew what was coming. "They're broadcasting," her communications officer said. "Surrender demand." Lee nodded. "Put it through." High Commander Vethral's face appeared on the main screen. He looked confident and pleased with himself. "People of Earth," he began, "you have defied the Galactic Council. You have closed your borders and rejected our authority. This cannot be allowed. I am here with a coalition fleet of 5,000 ships. Your defense platforms and small fleet cannot stand against us. Surrender now and no one will be harmed. Refuse, and we will disable your defenses and occupy your world. You have 24 hours to decide." The transmission ended. Lee looked at her tactical officer. "How many ships do they actually have out there?" "Exactly 5,042, Captain. Looks like every major military power in the galaxy sent something." Lee turned to her communications officer. "Open a channel. Let me respond." When the channel opened, Lee spoke calmly. "Hi, Commander Vethral. This is Captain Lee Soo-jin of the Earth Defense Station Mercy's End. I am authorized to speak for humanity. You have 24 hours to withdraw your fleet from our solar system. This is your only warning. If you do not leave, we will consider this an act of war and respond accordingly." There was silence for a moment. Then Vethral laughed. It was a cold, mocking sound. "Captain Lee, I have 5,000 ships. You have 300 defense platforms and perhaps 2,000 vessels. Your mathematics are very poor." Lee felt a sadness settle over her. They really did not understand. After 200 years of peace, the galaxy had convinced itself that humanity's restraint was weakness. "Commander," she said quietly, "please withdraw. We do not want this war." "You have 24 hours to surrender," Vethral repeated. "Use them wisely." The channel closed. Lee turned to her crew. "Battle stations, prepare all systems. Send the activation code to all defense platforms and fleet units." "All units, Captain? Including the ones they don't know about?" "All units," Lee confirmed. "If they attack, we stop holding back." 24 hours later, the coalition fleet moved forward. They had not expected humanity to refuse. They thought Lee's warning was just brave words from someone who knew they were beaten. The attack began with the coalition fleet firing on the 300 visible defense platforms. The aliens expected the platforms to have standard shields and weapons. They expected a normal battle. What happened next would be studied by military historians for centuries. The defense platforms did not take damage. The coalition's weapons hit them and simply stopped, absorbed by defensive fields that seemed to bend space itself. Then the platforms returned fire. The coalition's shields, the best technology the galaxy had developed, failed instantly. Human weapons passed through them like they were not there. Ships exploded or went dark, their systems completely dead. And then the rest of humanity's defenses activated. What the coalition thought were asteroids turned out to be hidden weapons platforms. What they thought were communication satellites revealed themselves as stealth warships. The 300 platforms they could see became 3,000. The 2,000 ships they expected became 10,000. The galaxy had believed humanity when they said they had a small military. They had not realized that humanity had simply hidden everything that mattered. Within the first hour, 600 coalition ships were destroyed. Another 1,000 were disabled, drifting in space with dead engines and no power. High Commander Vethral watched in horror from his flagship. "How is this possible? Where did these ships come from? Why don't our weapons work?" His tactical officer's voice shook. "Sir, their technology is far beyond ours. Our shields cannot stop their weapons. Our weapons cannot penetrate their defenses. They are not even using their full strength. The human ships are firing at minimum power." Minimum power? Vethral could not believe it. "These weapons that cut through our best shields like paper are set to minimum?" "Yes, sir. Our analysis shows they are holding back significantly." Lee watched the battle from her station and felt sick. She had known this would happen. Humanity had spent 200 years preparing for the day when the galaxy's fear turned to aggression. They had built weapons and defenses that the rest of the galaxy could not match. But she had hoped they would never need to use them. "Captain," her tactical officer said, "the Coalition fleet is regrouping. They are preparing for another attack." Lee opened a channel to the entire Coalition fleet. "This is Captain Lee to all Coalition forces. You have seen what we can do. This is still mercy. We are holding back. We do not want to kill you. Please, retreat while you still can." On his flagship, Vethral heard Lee's message and felt rage replace his shock. She was offering mercy? After destroying 600 of his ships, she dared to act like she was being kind? "All ships," he broadcast. "Full attack! Show these humans what happens when they challenge the galaxy." The Coalition fleet attacked again. This time, humanity stopped being gentle. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 3,000 Coalition ships were destroyed. Another 1,000 were so badly damaged that their crews abandoned them. The remaining 1,000 ships retreated in complete disorder, running for their lives. Humanity had lost 12 ships. 12 out of thousands. Lee walked through her station after the battle. Her crew was quiet. No one celebrated. They had just killed tens of thousands of beings. The fact that it was self-defense did not make it feel better. "Captain," her communications officer called, "the Coalition survivors are sending distress calls. Many of their escape pods are damaged. They are asking for help." Lee did not hesitate. "Send rescue ships. Recover their escape pods. Provide medical care. Make sure every survivor is treated well." Her first officer looked at her in surprise. "Captain, they just tried to kill us." "And we killed thousands of them," Lee said quietly. "That does not mean we let their survivors die." "Get me a channel to all Earth forces." When the channel opened, Lee broadcast to every human ship and station. "All units, this is Captain Lee. The battle is over. Our priority now is rescue and recovery. We will treat Coalition survivors with respect and provide all necessary medical care. They attacked us, but we will show them what humanity really means." On one of the fleeing Coalition ships, a young officer named Kiren watched the scanners in disbelief. "Commander, the human ships are not pursuing us. They are moving to the battle site." "Finally coming to finish us off," the commander said bitterly. "No, sir. They are rescuing escape pods. They are pulling out survivors from the damaged ships. They are providing medical assistance." The commander stared at the screen. The humans had just demonstrated terrifying military power. They had destroyed the Coalition fleet with ease, and now they were saving the lives of their enemies. Back on Earth, the government received Captain Lee's report. The Secretary of Defense, Kim Hanna, read it carefully. Then she looked at her advisors. "The Council will not accept this," she said. "They will see it as a temporary defeat. They will gather a larger fleet and try again." "Should we pursue the survivors?" one admiral asked. "Show them we could destroy their homeworlds if we wanted?" Kim shook her head. "No. We defend our territory. We do not attack theirs. Not yet. Give them a chance to be reasonable." But even as she spoke, Kim knew the truth. The galaxy had made its choice. The Galactic Council would not accept defeat. They would come again, with more ships, more weapons, more determination. And next time, humanity might have to stop holding back entirely. 3 days later, the Galactic Council received reports from the survivors of the battle. At first, the Council members refused to believe them. Then they watched the recorded data from the Coalition ships, and they understood. Humanity had lied, not with words, but with silence. They had hidden their true strength for 200 years. The peaceful, restricted human military was a fiction. The real human military was something the galaxy had never seen before. Speaker Torvin read the reports and felt old. He had suspected something like this. That was why Park's final warning had sounded like grief instead of fear. The ambassador had known what would happen. High Commander Vethrol appeared before the council. His scales had lost their shine. He looked smaller somehow, diminished by defeat. "We need more ships," he said. "This was just one battle. If we gather the full military might of the galaxy—" "You want to do this again?" Scholar Praxian interrupted. "You want to send more people to die?" "We cannot let humanity win," Vethrol shouted. "If we back down now, we show weakness." The council debated. Pride warred with common sense, and once again, pride won. The galaxy prepared for war. Admiral Kim Hana stood in Earth's military command center and watched the reports come in. The Galactic Council had issued a formal declaration of war against humanity. 20 species had pledged their military forces. The galaxy was assembling the largest fleet in its history, 50,000 ships. Kim's staff worked around her, coordinating Earth's defenses, but she barely heard them. She was thinking about what Ambassador Park had told her before the first battle. "They think we are like them," Park had said. "They think we hide our military strength because we are afraid of them. They do not understand that we hide our strength because we are afraid of ourselves." Kim had not understood at the time. Now, watching the galaxy prepare to attack Earth again, she did. Her communications officer approached. "Admiral, we have an incoming message from the Galactic Council. They are offering terms." "What terms?" Kim asked. "Unconditional surrender. Earth must accept permanent occupation, disarmament, and direct council rule." Kim laughed, but there was no humor in it. "They destroy one fleet, lose 3,000 ships, and they think we will surrender? What are they thinking?" "They believe they made mistakes in the first battle," her intelligence officer explained. "They think if they bring enough ships, they can overwhelm us through sheer numbers." Kim turned to look at the star map showing the approaching coalition fleet. 50,000 ships. The galaxy had never assembled such a force before. Every major military power had contributed. They had spent months preparing, building new ships, training crews, coordinating their approach, and they still did not understand what they were facing. "Open a channel," Kim said. "Direct to the Galactic Council. I want to speak to all of them." When the channel opened, Kim saw the council chamber. All the representatives were there. High Commander Vethrol stood at the front, looking confident again. He had spent months rebuilding his reputation after the first defeat. Now he believed he would win. "Members of the Galactic Council," Kim began. "I am Admiral Kim Hana, Supreme Commander of Earth's military forces. I am making one final appeal to reason." Speaker Torvin looked tired. "Admiral, we have offered you terms. Surrender, and no more blood will be shed." "You do not understand what you are doing," Kim said. "You think the battle you lost was our full strength. It was not. You think bringing more ships will make a difference. It will not. You think you know what humanity is capable of. You do not." Vethrol stepped forward. "More threats, Admiral? We have 50,000 ships approaching your world. You cannot stand against the entire galaxy." Kim looked at him with something like pity. "Commander, we have spent 200 years hiding what we really are. We accepted your restrictions. We let you believe we were weak. We did this because we wanted peace. We wanted to be part of your community. But you have declared war. You have given us no choice." She paused, and her voice became harder. "So let me be clear. If your fleet attacks Earth, we will defend ourselves. And this time, we will not hold back. We will show you what humanity really is. And I promise you, Commander, you will regret forcing us to do this. Please, withdraw your fleet. End this war before it truly begins." Vethrol laughed. "You are outnumbered 50,000 to however many ships you have hidden. There is no outcome where humanity wins." Kim closed her eyes for a moment. "Then may whatever gods you believe in forgive us for what we are about to do." The transmission ended. 5 days later, the second coalition fleet arrived at Earth's solar system. This time, they came prepared. They had new shields designed to resist human weapons. They had coordinated battle plans. They had every advantage they could think of. It did not matter. The battle began, and humanity stopped pretending. The 3,000 defense platforms from the first battle became 30,000. The hidden fleet revealed itself fully. Not 10,000 ships, but 50,000 human vessels, each more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever built. But that was not the worst surprise. Earth's defensive network activated completely. Weapons platforms that could manipulate gravity itself, making enemy ships tear themselves apart. Defense systems that could hack into coalition vessels and shut them down instantly. Technology that bent space and time, making human ships impossible to target while their weapons hit with perfect accuracy. And then there were the planet-killer weapons. Humanity had never deployed them, never even hinted that they existed. But now, with the galaxy at their doorstep, Earth showed them, not to use but to demonstrate. A single human ship fired one shot at an uninhabited moon in the outer solar system. The moon ceased to exist, not destroyed, not shattered. It simply stopped being there, erased from space as if it had never existed. The coalition fleet tried to retreat, but humanity had learned from the first battle. They had surrounded the galaxy's forces. There was nowhere to run. "This is Admiral Kim to all coalition forces," Kim broadcast. "You have seen what we can do. Surrender now, and you will be treated well. Continue fighting, and we will destroy your entire fleet." The coalition fleet surrendered. 50,000 ships, the greatest military force the galaxy had ever assembled, gave up without firing more than a few shots. But Kim was not done. She had promised the Council that humanity would show them what they really were. And she kept her promises. "All human fleets," she ordered, "execute Operation Revelation." In a coordinated action that took 72 hours, human military forces appeared simultaneously at 12 worlds. The home systems of every species that had declared war on Earth. The galaxy panicked. They thought humanity was coming to destroy them. They thought Earth's vengeance would be terrible and complete. Instead, human forces attacked only military targets. Every shipyard, every weapons facility, every military base was destroyed or disabled. The humans did it with such precision that civilian casualties were almost zero. A few dozen injuries, no deaths. In 3 days, humanity dismantled the military capability of half the galaxy. And they did it without killing a single civilian. Captain Choi Yuna commanded the human forces at the Zevrathi home world. She watched her ships disable the last Zevrathi orbital defense platform and felt exhausted. This was not what she had joined the military for. She had wanted to explore space, to see new worlds, to make friends with other species. Instead, she was occupying an alien planet. "Captain," her second officer said, "we are receiving thousands of transmissions from the surface. They think we are going to kill them all." Choi thought about the 800 humans who had died when this war started. The colonists whose ship had been destroyed by Zevrathi weapons. 312 children who would never grow up. She could understand if some humans wanted revenge. But that was not who humanity was. That was not who they chose to be. "Open a channel to the Zevrathi surface," she ordered. When the channel opened, Choi spoke clearly. "People of Zevrathi, this is Captain Choi Yuna of Earth's military forces. We know you are afraid. We know you expect us to attack your cities, to harm your families. We will not do that. We are not here to hurt civilians. We are here to end this war." She paused. "Your military forces have been disabled. Your ability to make war is gone, but we will not harm your people. We will provide medical assistance, food, and supplies. We will help maintain your infrastructure. We are not your enemies. We are simply making sure this war cannot continue." On the Zevrathi home world, High Commander Vethral watched Choi's broadcast from a detention cell. His empire had fallen in 72 hours. Everything he had built, all the power he had wielded, was gone. And the humans had not killed a single Zevrathi civilian. He did not understand. He had destroyed a human ship full of children. He had convinced the galaxy to attack Earth. He had wanted to see humanity crushed, and humanity responded by defeating the galaxy's military and then protecting the galaxy's civilians. It made no sense. Where was the revenge? Where was the punishment? Where was the human savagery that everyone feared? A human guard approached his cell. "Commander Vethoral, you have a visitor." Ambassador Park Min-jun entered the cell area. He looked older than he had before the war, sadder. He looked at Vethoral for a long moment without speaking. "Why?" Vethoral finally asked. "Why did you do this? You could have destroyed us. You could have killed billions. You have the weapons. You have the power. Why did you show mercy?" Park sat down slowly. "Because we know what it is like to not show mercy," he said quietly. "Earth's history is full of wars, terrible wars. Wars where we killed each other by the millions. We know what revenge looks like. We know what hatred can do." He looked at Vethoral with tired eyes. "We chose differently. When we reached the stars, we decided we would not be that species anymore. We would not conquer. We would not destroy. We would protect, even when protecting our enemies." "But we attacked you," Vethoral said. "We killed your people." "Yes," Park agreed. "You did. And we defended ourselves. But defense is not the same as revenge. We defeated your military because we had to. We did not kill your civilians because we chose not to." Vethoral looked down at his hands. "The galaxy will never forgive itself for this. We thought we were strong. We thought we were the ones in control. And all along you could have destroyed us at any time." "Yes," Park said softly. "That is the truth you need to understand. We were never your prisoners. We were never weak. We were always your shield. We just did not tell you what we were protecting you from." "From what?" Vethoral asked. Park smiled, but it was sad. "From us. From what we can do when we have no choice. The galaxy has seen that now. I hope it never has to see it again." He stood to leave. "You will be treated fairly, Commander. There will be a trial for your actions, but you will be treated with dignity. That is the difference between us. You thought strength meant the willingness to harm. We know that true strength is the choice not to." The war ended in 83 days. It would be remembered as the shortest and most decisive conflict in galactic history, and the strangest. Captain Choi Yuna walked through the streets of Zevrath Prime, the capital city of the Zevrathi homeworld, and tried to ignore the stares. Zevrathi civilians stopped and watched her pass, their scaled faces showing fear and confusion. She could not blame them. 3 months ago, their leader had told them that humanity would be crushed, that the weak humans would surrender. Now human soldiers patrolled their streets, and their mighty military was gone. But what confused them was that the humans were not acting like conquerors. Choi stopped at a medical clinic where her medics were working with Zevrathi doctors. Inside, she found her chief medical officer, Dr. Yang Ji-won, helping a Zevrathi child who had been injured in an accident. "How is she?" Choi asked. Yang looked up. "She will be fine. Broken leg, but we have the bone regeneration working. She will walk normally in a week." The child's mother stood nearby, watching with wide eyes. She spoke in halting standard. "You are helping her, but you are the enemy." Yang smiled gently. "We are not your enemy. We are just making sure everyone is safe and healthy." After Yang finished treating the child, Choi walked with her back toward their command post. The streets were busy, Zevrathi going about their lives, human soldiers helping to repair damaged infrastructure, aid workers distributing supplies. "It feels wrong," Yang said quietly. "We are occupying their world, but we are also helping them. I do not know what to call this." "Neither do I," Choi admitted. "But Admiral Kim was clear. We defeated their military. We do not need to hurt their people. At the command post, Choi found Scholar Praxin waiting for her. The old Praxian had come to the Zevrathi world to study what humanity was doing. He was one of the few council members who had voted against the war. "Captain Choi," Praxin said, "I hope I am not intruding. I wanted to ask permission to access your historical databases." "Our history?" Choi was surprised. "Why?" "Because I need to understand," Praxin said. "The galaxy thought we knew what humans were. We were wrong. I want to learn the truth." Choi thought about it. "Scholar, our history is not pleasant. There are parts of it we are not proud of." "That is exactly what I need to see," Praxin said. Choi gave him access. Over the next weeks, Scholar Praxin studied humanity's history. He read about Earth's wars, its genocides, its weapons of mass destruction. He learned about nuclear bombs, biological warfare, chemical weapons. He discovered that humanity had nearly destroyed itself multiple times. And he began to understand. Praxin sent a message to the Galactic Council. "I have discovered why humanity accepted our restrictions 200 years ago. It was not because they were weak. It was because they were afraid of themselves." In his report, Praxin explained what he had learned. Humanity had evolved on a death world where survival required constant adaptation. They had developed intelligence and technology to overcome their environment. But they had also developed the ability to create terrible weapons. By the time humans reached space, they had already survived 3 near-extinction events: wars that killed billions, weapons that could destroy entire continents. They had looked at themselves and realized they could end all life on their planet if they were not careful. So when they encountered the galactic community, they had made a choice. They could have conquered the galaxy easily. Their technology was already more advanced. Their weapons were already more powerful. The galaxy would have fallen in less than a decade. Instead, humanity chose to hide their strength. They accepted restrictions not because the galaxy forced them, but because they wanted to try something different. They wanted to see if they could be peaceful, if they could build instead of destroy. For 200 years, humanity had protected the galaxy from the truth. They had shown only what was necessary to seem respectable but not threatening. They had been the galaxy's silent guardians, making sure no one ever needed to fear what humans could really do. The Council had mistaken this gift for weakness, and they had paid a terrible price for their mistake. When Praxin published his findings, the galaxy reacted with shock. Some species felt betrayed, others felt grateful, but everyone understood that the entire galactic order had changed forever. On the Zevrathi homeworld, Choi brought Praxin's report to the detention center where Vethral was held. The former commander was working in a refugee camp as part of his sentence. He helped distribute food, carried supplies, and assisted the human aid workers. It was strange to see. The proud warrior who had started this war now working alongside the enemies he had tried to destroy. "Commander," Choi said, "I brought you something to read." Vethral took the report. He read it slowly, his expression changing as he understood. When he finished, he looked up at Choi with something like wonder. "This entire time," he said, "you could have destroyed us all. The galaxy never stood a chance." "No," Choi agreed. "We could have wiped out every species in the galaxy if we wanted. Our weapons technology is centuries ahead. Our AI could have hacked every system. Our biological research could have created plagues that targeted specific species." She sat down across from him. "But we did not want that. We wanted friends. We wanted to explore the universe with others. We wanted peace." Vethral was quiet for a long time. "I killed those colonists," he finally said. 800 people, children. I thought I was enforcing the law, being strong." "Yes," Choi said. "You did kill them. But you did not kill my people in revenge." "No. Because killing your civilians would not bring ours back. It would just create more death." Vethral looked at his hands. I do not understand how you can be this way, how you can have such power and choose not to use it. Choi smiled sadly. That is because you still think power is about the ability to hurt. Real power is about the choice not to. Any species can destroy, but to protect, even when it costs you, even when it would be easier to take revenge, that requires strength. She stood to leave. We have seen what happens when power is used without wisdom. Earth's history is full of examples. We learned, Commander. We learned that the strongest thing we could do was choose mercy, even when mercy was hard. Over the next months, similar conversations happened across the occupied worlds. Human forces maintained order but did not oppress. They helped rebuild but did not exploit. They stayed armed but did not threaten. The galaxy watched and slowly began to understand. This was not a normal occupation. This was humanity, making sure the war could not start again while doing everything possible to help the people who had attacked them. Peace negotiations began at a neutral station. Ambassador Park returned to represent Earth, though he told Kim privately that he was not sure he wanted the job anymore. I spent 30 years trying to make peace with the galaxy, he said. And in the end, we had to show them our weapons to make them respect us. Not respect, Kim corrected. Understanding. They respect us now because they understand what we chose not to do. At the negotiations, the galactic representatives came with very different attitudes than before. No one made demands. No one threatened. They all knew the truth now. Speaker Torvin opened the talks. Ambassador Park, we come to these negotiations with humility. The galaxy owes Earth an apology. We judged you wrongly. We attacked you unjustly. We now understand that you were protecting us from your own power, and we repaid that gift with war. Park looked around the table. Every species that had declared war on Earth was represented. The galaxy made mistakes, he said, but humanity is not without fault. We should have been more honest about who we were. We should have trusted you with the truth. Would we have reacted well to that truth? A delegate asked. If you had shown us your full military power 200 years ago, would we have welcomed you? Or would we have attacked you then? Park nodded slowly. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps we made the right choice to hide. But now everyone knows. So we must decide together what comes next. The negotiations took weeks. In the end, a new treaty emerged. The Galactic Council would be reformed. Humanity would have a permanent seat with special authority over military conflicts. Human forces would remain in the occupied systems for 5 years to ensure peace, then withdraw. Most importantly, the galaxy agreed to the Terran protocols. Rules about warfare, about protecting civilians, about exhausting every peaceful option before resorting to violence. Rules based on humanity's painful lessons from its own history. Scholar Praxin called them the price of wisdom paid in blood and tears. On the Zevrathi homeworld, Choi received orders to begin preparing for eventual withdrawal. Her forces would stay for 5 years, but she could start training Zevrathi to take over their own security. She found Vethral in the refugee camp. He was teaching a group of Zevrathi children, helping them with their studies. When he saw her, he stood respectfully. Captain, I heard about the treaty. You will leave in 5 years. Yes, Choi said. We will make sure everything is stable first, but we do not want to stay forever. This is your world. Vethral looked at the children he had been teaching. I have been thinking about those human colonists, the 800 people I killed. I keep thinking about what their last moments were like. If they were afraid, if they knew why they were dying. Probably, Choi said quietly. Probably they were terrified. I cannot bring them back. I cannot undo what I did. No, Choi agreed. You cannot. But you can choose to be better, to teach these children that strength is not about causing fear, that real power is the choice to protect. Vethral looked at her. like humanity did. Like humanity tries to do, Choi corrected. We are not perfect. We make mistakes, but we keep trying to be better than we were. She put a hand on his shoulder. That is all anyone can do, Commander. Try to be better. 10 years after the war, Ambassador Park Min-jun stood at the observation deck of Earth Station and watched ships from across the galaxy move through the busy traffic lanes. Merchants, tourists, students, diplomats. The station was alive with the sounds and colors of 100 species going about their business in peace. It was strange to think that a decade ago, this same space had been a battlefield. Ambassador, a voice said behind him, the new delegation from Andros has arrived. They are requesting a meeting. Park turned. His assistant was young, born after the war. She had grown up in a galaxy where humanity's power was known and respected. She could not imagine a time when Earth had hidden its strength. Tell them I will meet them in an hour, Park said, and remind them that they need to submit their application through proper channels. The Andros were a newly discovered species, just beginning to develop space travel. They wanted to join the galactic community. Like all new species, they had to go through the application process, and like all new species, they had questions about humanity. Park had given this presentation dozens of times over the past decade. He sometimes felt like a teacher, explaining the same lesson over and over. When he met the Andros delegation, they looked at him with a mixture of curiosity and nervousness. They had heard the stories. Everyone had heard the stories. Ambassador Park, their leader said, we are honored to meet you. We have heard much about humanity, about the war, about Earth's power. What exactly have you heard? Park asked. He had learned that it was better to know what rumors were spreading. That humans are the most powerful military force in the galaxy, that you can destroy planets, that you defeated the entire galactic military in less than 3 months. Park nodded. Those things are true, but they are not the whole truth. Please, sit. Let me tell you about humanity properly. Over the next hour, Park explained. He told them about Earth's history, about the wars and weapons and near extinctions. He told them about humanity's choice to hide their power, to try to be peaceful. He told them about the war, about the galaxy's mistake, about humanity's response. But here is the important part, Park said. Humanity did not want this power. We did not want to be the galaxy's police. We wanted to be equals. We wanted friends and partners. But you are not equals, the Andros leader said. You are stronger than everyone else. In military terms, yes, Park agreed. But strength is not the same as value. Every species has something to offer. The Praxians have wisdom. The Kalari have artistic genius. The Miran have technological innovation. Humanity has military power and medical knowledge. We are all needed. We are all valuable. The Andros seemed to consider this. Why did you accept restrictions 200 years ago if you were so powerful? Park smiled. Because we were trying to be better than we had been. We did not want to conquer. We wanted to see if we could build something peaceful. We wanted to prove to ourselves that we could choose differently. Did you prove it? The Andros asked. Park looked out at the busy station, at all the different species working together. Yes, I think we did. Not perfectly, not without cost, but we showed that mercy is possible. That power can be used to protect instead of destroy. Later, Park met with Admiral Kim for their regular briefing. She looked tired. Running Earth's military and coordinating galactic security was exhausting work. 3 new disputes this month, Kim said. The Kalari and Zenth are arguing about a border. The Vorath and Pilon have trade disagreements, and someone found an abandoned weapons cache from the old regime on Talax. How are we handling them? Park asked. The border dispute is going to mediation. The trade issue is being handled by the commercial courts, and we sent a team to secure the weapons cache. Kim rubbed her eyes. Nothing major, just the usual work of keeping the peace. Strange, Park said. 10 years ago, keeping the peace meant hiding our strength. Now it means using it to stop conflicts before they start. Do you think we made the right choice? Kim asked, showing everyone what we can do? Park thought about it. We did not have a choice. The council declared war. But yes, I think in the long run it was better this way. No more secrets. No more pretending. Everyone knows the truth now. And they fear us, Kim said quietly. Some do, Park agreed. But many respect us, and respect based on truth is better than friendship based on lies. On the Zevrathi homeworld, Captain Choi was preparing to leave. The 5-year occupation had ended. Human forces were withdrawing. The Zevrathi had rebuilt their society, reformed their military, and agreed to the Terran protocols. Vethral, the former commander, came to see her off. He looked different now, older but also somehow lighter. The weight of his guilt had not disappeared, but he had learned to carry it. Captain Choi, he said, I wanted to thank you for everything. You do not need to thank me, Choi said. We did what was necessary. No, Vethral insisted. You did more than that. You taught us what real strength looks like. You showed us that power without wisdom is just destruction. Choi looked around at the city. It had been repaired, rebuilt. It looked almost like it had before the war. But it was different too. Better, maybe. What will you do now? She asked. I am joining the new Zevrathi peacekeeping force, Vethral said. We are forming a military based on the Terran protocols. Defense, not aggression. Protection, not conquest. I want to teach the next generation to be better than I was. Choi smiled. Then maybe some good came from all this pain. As her ship prepared to leave, Choi thought about the war. About the thousands who had died. About the choice humanity had made to show mercy even when revenge would have been easier. Was it worth it? All the pain, all the loss, all the difficulty? She thought about the galaxy as it was now. Peaceful, cooperative, learning to solve problems without violence, learning that strength was about protection, not domination. Yes, she decided, it was worth it. Scholar Praxon published his final report on the war 10 years after it ended. It was called The Gift of Restraint, How Humanity Saved the Galaxy by Refusing to Conquer It. In the report, he wrote, For 200 years, humanity gave the galaxy a gift we did not recognize. They had the power to destroy us, to conquer us, to enslave us. Instead, they chose to hide their strength and try to be our friends. When we repaid that gift with war, they could have exterminated us. Instead, they defeated our military and protected our civilians. They showed us mercy we did not deserve. The galaxy owes humanity a debt that can never be fully repaid. The least we can do is learn from their example. The report became required reading for all new species joining the galactic community. It was taught in schools across the galaxy. Children of every species learned about the war and what it meant. Humanity became known not as conquerors or destroyers, but as reluctant guardians. The species that could destroy the galaxy but chose not to. The power that protected because it understood the cost of violence. Ambassador Park stood at Earth Station 15 years after the war and welcomed another new species to the galaxy. They asked the same questions. He gave the same answers. And slowly, the galaxy continued to learn. One day, a young human officer approached him. She had just been assigned to the station. Ambassador, may I ask you something? Of course, Park said. Do you think the galaxy will ever stop fearing us? She asked. Will they ever see us as just another species? Park thought about it. Some will always fear our power. That is natural. But fear is not the same as respect. And respect is not the same as understanding. I do not follow, the officer said. Park smiled. The galaxy feared us when they did not know what we were. Then they respected us when they saw our power. Now slowly they are beginning to understand us, to see why we make the choices we make. That understanding is worth more than fear or respect. It is the foundation of real peace. He looked out at the station, at all the different species working together. We are not there yet. It will take generations, but we are moving in the right direction. And if someone attacks us again? The officer asked. If another species makes the same mistake the council did? Park's expression became serious. Then we defend ourselves. We show them mercy if we can. But we never forget what we learned from this war. Power without wisdom is destruction. Strength without restraint is tyranny. We must always be better than our worst impulses. The officer nodded slowly. That is a heavy responsibility. Yes, Park agreed. But it is ours to carry. We chose this path when we first reached the stars. We chose to be protectors instead of conquerors. That choice defines who we are. Late that night, Park returned to his quarters and recorded a message. It would be sealed for 50 years, to be opened by his successor. To whoever reads this, he said, I am writing at the end of 15 years of peace. The galaxy has learned much. But there is always the danger that future generations will forget. They will see humanity's power and think we can use it casually. They will forget the cost of violence. They will forget why we choose restraint. If you are reading this, you carry a great responsibility. You must remind the galaxy and remind humanity that our power is not a toy. It is a burden, a tool we use only when necessary. We are strong because we choose not to use our strength. We are respected because we show mercy even when we do not have to. Never forget the 800 colonists who died to start this war. Never forget the thousands who died in the battles. Never forget the choice we made to show mercy even to those who attacked us. That choice is what makes us human. That choice is what makes us worthy of the power we have. Park ended the recording and sealed it. Then he stood at his window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, species he would never meet were being born. Civilizations he would never see were developing, and someday they would learn about Earth, about the species that could have conquered the galaxy but chose peace instead. He hoped they would understand. He hoped they would learn. He hoped that humanity's choice, made so long ago, would continue to guide the galaxy toward a better future, because in the end, that was what mercy meant. Not weakness, not surrender, but the choice to build instead of destroy, to protect instead of harm, to hope for better even when worse would be easier. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy. And it was a gift that could never be taken away, only shared and passed on to those who came after. Park smiled and returned to his work. There was always more to do, more species to welcome, more conflicts to mediate, more chances to show the galaxy that mercy was not just possible, but necessary. The war had ended 15 years ago, but the peace they were building would last forever.